So I started researching what are the species that they're hoping will rebound in the river. And that basically all the graphics that you see on here are all the different species that are indicators of a healthy river and that they hope will rebound into the river. Everything started with drawings. I make drawings, I do my research, and then I convert those into files that a computer can read. And I've been working with a company called Blazing Laser Engraving, and they cut stencils from my drawings, and then their crew sticks down the stencil, and then they have machines you've been looking at. They have these things they call pots that are full of an abrasive sand, and then they have a containment system so it doesn't go into the air and river, and they set that kind of container over the stencil, and then they're reaching their arm in with a hose with the abrasive sand, and they're just slowly, it's called direct pressure blasting. They're sending a jet of sand that's very fine directly down and just going along the stencil to engrave the image into the concrete. And this concrete actually is very hard, and one of the things that I really love is when you go down through the layers to the aggregate below, it almost looks like fossils. I mean, it adds a real texture, and I'm really happy about that, and also about how kind of subtle it is. So in some lights, like from far away, you can't really see anything, and then you get here and you realize what's there. And I also really like that aspect of something that changes a little bit over time and with the light. And this bridge will go underwater several times a year, so I needed to come up with a design that wouldn't be affected by that. The style is inspired by the Egyptian tomb reliefs, where, you know, the pharaoh dies and the pharaoh wants to have wonderful hunting and fishing in the afterlife. So there are these incredibly beautiful, detailed images of pharaohs hunting and fishing with all the animals and just teeming with life. That was kind of the main thing. And then there are wavy lines showing the river and water, and it's very shallow relief. And I've worked a lot in wet concrete, but here I had to work on top of the bridge after it was built. So I had to figure out some technique that would work in dry stone and concrete, and so I came up with this. And so the general layout is like kind of this big map around the bridge deck of all the flora and fauna that one day will be coming back in the river. I really like things that pedestrians and people riding bikes can appreciate, so I'm glad that this is actually not on a place where you can drive. And I like the idea of thinking of kids walking along here and getting curious about all the animals and why they're here. And the river is the life of San Antonio. I mean, the city wouldn't be here, and people have been coming here for thousands of years and hunting and fishing and then living here full time because of the river, connecting it all up. The history, the culture, the natural history, the art is so smart. I think it's the best thing San Antonio's ever done, certainly since I've been here. So very excited to be part of that.